everybody. Today we are sitting down with Greg Chociej from Camp Heartbreak. Now, this is particularly exciting for me, Greg, because I saw your company, your camp online. It came up in a couple of different searches that I was looking for. And I was like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is this? How long has it been around for? How has this not existed before? Yeah, tell me about Camp Heartbreak.
How has it not existed before is what I've been asking for a long time. I guess, existed for about a year now. And yeah, we are a first of its kind heartbreak support resource camp. Kind of like specifically geared to like getting out of the city, getting together with great psychotherapists, community, nature, and I don't know, hopefully getting people through like one of the hardest losses of their lives.
So let's talk about that because there's different kinds of heartbreak. So what kind of heartbreak do you cover?
Honestly, all of it. So the first name for it was divorce camp.
Okay.
Because like I thought like, first of all, divorce, I've learned over the last few years that like divorce is like a bad word. You say divorce and it just like, it comes
as
up
a negative
with
like connotation.
Totally. But divorce camp itself, that's kind of how it started because I thought, okay, like this is so weird. During pandemic, I read, I think it was, January 2021, I read an article that like divorces were skyrocketing. And I was like, I wonder why. And it was because people were stuck at home with each other. And
they realized, I don't like you as much as I thought that I did.
Like, get your hands off my mugs and like, get out of here.
Yeah.
And so like, I was like, that's so weird. And so the kind of thing started like working in my head. And I kind of thought about it for a long time, going through breakups and stuff. And I kind of realized like, there's this huge gap here. How is there no industry for like something that is so common?
Mm-hmm.
Like the only industry you can think of is like sad music.
Totally.
Divorce lawyers, and like, I guess personal trainers, right? So
yeah,
like
revenge bot is a real thing.
that's a thing. But no real like, hey, like divorce breakup. So the first purpose was divorce. But I think like we've expanded. Also, I've never been divorced, just many awful breakups. And so I decided, I was like, yeah, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to try to do.
So what does the camp consist of? Like, walk me through what someone gets or what's available once you are on the grounds.
I think, honestly, it's funny. I was there recently and I realized that like it's a health spa, like in my opinion. Like if you really think about it, it's like, it's a beautiful...
That's a good way to like imagine.
Totally.
You know?
It's a beautiful lake. The camp counselors are there. They're actually like, they work with kids in the summer. They work with like adult groups in like the shoulder seasons. So you basically show up to camp. It is idyllic. Did you ever go to camp?
I did not. I did not go to camp. I always wanted to go to camp, but I never did.
Yeah, it's
in the movies. That's how I know camp to be.
I hope your relationships work out and you don't have to come. But if you ever did, you are welcome.
Thank you. I'm going to. P.S. I'm inviting myself because I'd love to come and see it.
P. Yeah, it's a really stunning place, and
so there's like cabins and like bunk beds and like I imagine
a mess
like
hall.
long lunch tables like where you like benches that you sit at.
Dock.
Yeah.
They've got a huge like dive tower for the kids.
Cool.
They've got cabins. They actually run a maple syrup operation down there in the winter. So they tap 3,000 trees and like you get some maple syrup on the way out.
Wow, that's sweet.
Yeah, they've got kind of everything you'd imagine. They've got like a little theater, but like a huge dock and like a private lake.
There's like canoes and like activities and things for people to
you
like
are
do.
100,000% like in nature.
And camp in nature.
That's it.
I love that. And then aside from that, you have brought in other elements to help people, obviously, because the camp, like there's like healing that's done there.
Yeah,
right?
we don't just send people into the woods and hope they feel better.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, it was a thought we had.
That's how some people might cope.
Yeah,
so.
that's it. It's just like, well, if you make it through the bears and the snakes, then like you're gonna be better.
Yeah.
But I brought in some incredible psychotherapists, divorce specialists. I brought in a qigong, yoga, and writing expert, Dr. Peter Yeager. Really, like this journey through like a divorce or breakup is like sort of what I learned from my trauma in my life, which is like you need people, you need nature, you need outdoors, and you need good experts. Like you need people who can really guide you because I think sometimes people are stuck with their friends. And their friends are biased. And
for sure. And friends also get tired if that, I mean, it's mean to say that because I know you love your friends and you want to be there for them.
Yes.
At the same time, you don't just get over things like this or even in a week, let's just say. And so it's like, it's hard to then count on somebody to kind of take you through the whole grieving process, which sometimes takes like years, you know?
Totally. And that's sort of I think that's a big part of it. So basically like my story begins with sort of, I lost my parents to cancer when I was very young.
I'm really sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I was in my teens, and at that time my dad was first and then my mom was second, 5 years
Really?
apart. Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. I was 14 with my dad and 19 with my mom. And thankfully I had like a big family here. Me and my sister were well taken care
I was
of.
just gonna say, do you have a sibling?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I think like what I started realizing then was that there were just like a lack of support for mental health anyways. There were like one-on-one things, but I feel like they were really lacking, like at least for me.
Yeah.
Maybe they were for other people. That's cool. And obviously like I made it through. So like it's
Yeah.
a thing, but I did feel that like there was like a missing perspective on group therapy stuff. Like people you can share it with. Cause like it's hard not to feel like totally alone when like you're going through something so dramatic.
Well, that's like, that's like the most traumatizing kind of heartbreak to experience at such a young age. Like,
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, what did you do? Like, also, because years ago, like that, what we talk about now wasn't necessarily also talked about, or the resources weren't available back then.
For sure.
So, like, what did you do? And maybe that either taught you, okay, like moving forward, like I want to create things in place for people, or like this really helped me.
Well, I eventually went into comedy, so like I just sort of, I don't know, I'm a weird case because I feel like I'm just like specially designed to take hits, like in a weird way.
Oh,
like I'm just like natural.
That makes me sad though.
No, it's okay.
That's because you mean you have like a tough interior and exterior?
That's a great. I think honestly, like me as a person is very like Chris Farley-esque. So
Okay.
there's like a lot of noise, but it's like you can put Chris Farley through a door or a wall, and you'll still kind of like laugh about it because like he kind of feels that way if you remember how he performed.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm similar. Like I feel like I'm just sort of like well designed, and I think this expression, like this camp, is an expression based on like what I was able to like learn from like a subjective perspective, and say like, you know, I kind of felt like, yeah, it's what did I do? I'm just funny. Like it's just, I will make jokes.
Yeah.
As I've done today. And like I would just like always make jokes. And I think a lot of people always thought like, wow, like you're probably hiding the pain. But like I don't think
Right. Because a lot of people assume that, not for
Totally.
anything, of like, you know, it's like you make jokes when you're uncomfortable or when you're sad. You're like
Yeah.
masking what is the truth like underneath.
Yeah. And I think that
But laughing is also medicine for the soul. So
and that's why I do think like the camp is an extension of humor in a way. Like, what did I do? I love that question because I feel like, yeah, it was art. It was sports. It was friends. It was family. It was making mistakes. It was like just kind of, it took years. I mean, I don't think, actually, it's crazy. This week was my mom's 22-year death anniversary.
wow.
Yeah.
And this is like the week that we connected. So it's
Yes.
like, I'm really glad that I have you here to,
Yeah.
you know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
me
really
too.
special.
But I'll say like, it's sort of, I talk about it with friends all the time because I feel like when this happened to me, I became like the guy you go to. And I think I was always,
So like if you went through that, then you can do anything. You can like help me
yes,
with anything.
and I'll understand.
Yeah.
Because I think most people, I don't know, I think I'll say this, like my background's Polish. And I don't know if this is like accurate for all Poles. I don't think it is, but like I think our take on trauma is like share it with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like the Western European take is more like keep calm and carry on.
Yeah.
If you recall like the saying from World War II. And like that's fine, but I think like that's how sweeping things under the rug is how like things become a disaster. Right. And that's how like people start to like, that's alcoholism, that's all kinds of substance abuse problems. And I feel like I'm trying to do the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, come here. Like we have to share.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we're more isolated now than ever. Even like today, like being on the podcast, I'm happy we're in studio because like
too.
even I have to get stuck on DuPont for 15 minutes.
Sorry about that.
DuPont.
There's traffic everywhere.
Dude.
No, but it's true. It's true. It's and I feel like that was lost. And that's probably, you've seen the surge in the need for this, I feel like, at this moment in time, because post-COVID too, people are just craving this like personal interaction. Like,
Yeah.
and even myself, like working in TV, like I still do like interviews. I mean, I just did one, Zoom and whatnot. Cause it's great cause you can reach other people, but at the same time, it really is hard to connect with someone on a deep level in that way. Like it's so different to be in person in a group setting and feel that support and like love and connection with people.
And I think like, that's such a key, especially for extroverts, like as someone who like really needs people to recharge. And like, I need my alone time too, but I'm very much in a mode where like, I want to get into rooms with other humans.
Yeah.
It makes me feel better. And I think like, I don't know that you can heal without it. Like, I think since pandemic, one of the weird things that's happened is like psychologists and therapists have gone online, and you kind of think to yourself, like, is this really working? Like, don't you want to see my body language? Like, is it weird that like you're talking to me about like the deepest stuff and all of a sudden like the camera cuts out and I'm like, did you hear me? Did you get it? Like, right. And it's like, I think like Camp Heartbreak hopefully is the first of many, like as a reactive company to say like, hey, like we can do better. Like that, like, I don't think the government's going to standardize these programs. So like we have to build them. And like, that's kind of, I think what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully people like, I know we were talking beforehand, and one of the things that you said that I think is so profound, it's like when you have an injury, you go see a doctor.
Yeah.
When you're like, ill with something, you go and seek help or you seek an expert.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you have a broken heart, why wouldn't you go to put yourself to something or give yourself a chance to be exposed to that expertise that can help heal you?
Totally. And I think so interesting because like, I guess I don't know, like I hired experts, but I'm not an expert. I just have beliefs.
Yeah.
And I think one of them has to be that it feels like we said before too, which was when you tell someone that someone in your life has died, they'll likely try to hug you or protect you. But when you tell them that you've gone through a breakup, they'll probably try to get you drunk.
Yeah.
Right. Buck up. Like you'll get through this, and you're like, you've been emotionally shot. Like you are bleeding to death emotionally. Yeah. And yet, like, it's hard to see. And, like, if you look at, like, in Europe, in parts of Asia, they have heartbreak leave. Like, you can take
Really?
You can take time off.
You're kidding.
No, 100%.
I would have used all mine up.
Yeah. No, don't. She's fine.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's what I mean. We're not, like, I think we always look at Canada. We always think about, like, how progressive Canada is.
Yeah.
And, like, Canada is in some ways very progressive. It is, like, the new world. But like if you look at the rest of the world, I think the planet, like some people are taking this way more seriously. Even if we're to look at it from like a more conservative perspective, what's the economic cost of heartbreak? Like how many days of work?
Yeah.
How much work done badly? Like there's so many weird questions you can ask now.
Totally. Well, because it impacts everything that you do, right?
Yeah.
So that's really interesting.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say like we were talking earlier in the week as well, and JAMA released that study that's only 6.9% get the help they need. And a large part of that is called perceived need. And I wrote this down to get it right, but is what someone or a group believes they need, which may not align with the actual objective requirements. So like we have to also tell people, I think men more than women, that like heartbreak's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, by the way, like this sucks. You're right, it sucks. And like identify the issue, like let's work on it.
So why do you say that men, well, I think a lot of women watching this are probably like, yes, Greg, preach, Greg.
Let's go.
Because it's like, I hear you, I feel it. But
coupons
like,
for all.
Why, as a man, it's also interesting that you've created this when most men kind of buck up, get drunk, and move on.
And I think I'll say like, I think my dead parents is probably like how I got here.
Yeah.
Because I don't think with that, I would have had that intro to the trauma and been like, hey, like these are actually like pretty similar, like the way they feel like inside. I could compare those. And I think moving forward as I started to see like my friends and like everything that was happening to us and like how like people were hurting and like some people just never got over it. And their success, some of them are very successful. They do well. You can't tell, but they're, I don't know, like you can see that there's damage. And like, what if we can open that up? And I don't think it works for everybody because I think some people need to be strong, but like I bet a lot of people, and I'll say this session right now for us, for the camp, the first session is all women. Mm-hmm. Like the goal is to actually have men come up later.
Okay.
Like, I think that would be so awesome because it makes me it bums me out that like only women have signed up. Like I'm really happy.
Yeah.
But I'd hope that like more.
That it would open people's perspective. Okay. So then here's your pitch, Greg.
Yeah.
If a gentleman is watching this right now and thinking like, I would never want to go back to camp, why would you suggest, and like, talk about my feelings all weekend long?
Yeah.
What would you say to them as someone who's like been there and kind of seen what's involved and the impact of it?
First, Greg at campheartbreak.com. Dudes, reach out. I will talk to you. But also like, man, I grew up an athlete. I was rugby, swimming. I swam later on in life, like competitively. I still play basketball. All to say, like Camp Heartbreak's whole thing is like, check out all this fun stuff. That camp has the nicest. It's an actual basketball court in the middle of like a forest.
Wow.
Where it's like,
that sounds magical.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, yo, if you think it's just for like sharing your feelings, yeah, it's for that too. But like, do you want to go like swimming in like a cool lake?
Yeah, I have like just it's almost like for me,
Yeah.
not for anything, but like my crutch for like healing in a relationship. One of the first things that I traditionally do,
Yes.
besides like cry and all the things, it's
Gotcha.
like I like book a trip somewhere because
Okay.
for me, getting out of my day to day and being in another place
Yeah.
helps like, I don't know, just like opens your mind up to like, there's more to this world. And that's like being in nature. Same thing is like, there's so much beauty in this world. There's so much goodness. Like
Yeah.
it like restores like hope, if that makes sense.
Totally. And I think like that's it. Like, that's what I said. I feel like it's more like a health spot because you're not cooking, you're not cleaning. You're just going to like therapy and fun stuff. Like you are free. Like you are in nature in a way that like you don't have to do shit. Like just be there, participate, be nice to people if you can.
Yeah.
And like, I think I'll say the people I've brought in, Jen and Ellen doing Next Chapter, which is the psychotherapy program. One of the keys is that like the vibes between us, the counselors and everything else, this is a really positive place. Like really positive. Like, creating that kind of environment.
Yeah.
And then like with the trees, like forget it.
I don't know if you believe in this sort of thing, but it's like if I'm a firm believer of like vibrations and like what you put out. And it's like if you have like elevated vibrations in a room, then everybody else feels like they need to like meet that or they like raise their energy. Do you know what I mean? Like
totally.
Or energy shifts.
Yes.
For that matter. Like when you're around positivity, it's like it's contagious. It's gonna rub off on you.
Yeah, contagious is a strong word with that many people. It sounds like a super spreader event, but we're gonna be okay. Everyone's fine. But I do feel
with happiness,
happy
with
contagion,
joy, Greg.
It's a happiness super spreader event.
Yeah.
But I think in that it's really cool because science just proved that we do give off aura. I don't know if you saw this.
No.
There's research now that we give off this like bioluminescent thing.
Love that.
That they managed to test. So you've always been right. And like a lot of people told you were wrong probably or not.
Yeah.
Or just like whatever. But like you're right. That's right. Huh. So I think like for us, the combination of all those things and yeah, man, good food.
Is there booze?
No booze.
No booze. Clean
booze.
Weekend. Clean
That's what
fun.
I said. Like my because you're gonna figure it out eventually. Anyways, like my competition is like Jamaica and Vegas.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to go get laid somewhere and gamble, sure, that exists. But like if you want to like go for a vacation and actually come back well rested, that's us.
Love that.
And I do think honestly that's sort of, I think that's the new approach to mental health care. Because I don't think, like in Great Britain, they have like a minister of loneliness. I'm not sure what like the actual title is. They have since 2021 because they've recognized this as this big problem. And like in Canada, like, we have so many problems and they're not spending. They're spending, they're spending a lot of money on all kinds of things. But I think mental health is like fallen back again. And like you can see it like downtown, right? It's like,
oh yeah, it's scary out there. And I feel so sorry for people because some people are like actually like scared.
Yeah.
But like I find myself like looking at people and I feel sorry. Like it's like, I know you are the way you are because you don't have the help that you need.
Yeah.
Like, and there's not enough to go around,
Yeah. But that's what I mean is I think perceived need, right? We talked about perceived need. It's like once we isolate that, and like who knows where those breakdowns start, but they honestly, I don't know these people's stories and I don't want to speak to them all, but like obviously like there could be trouble at home and like what if we can
I feel like most trauma starts like because when you're young you don't necessarily have the tools to like cope. So people go like that's where in my opinion, I mean again like I'm no expert but from what I've seen that's what it stems from.
Well, I'll say like I remember when my mom was sick and my mom basically like they didn't know she went in for a hysterectomy and then they found cancer. What? Yeah, and it was like advanced and so it was a shock to all of us and obviously like we were to last my dad so I think we were like what the hell is going on? Like this is so terrible.
Yeah.
But I remember like they basically like you come home with your mom and she's very sick all of a sudden. She wasn't sick when she left. Like we didn't know that she was. She was but we didn't know. And like there really was no family support for like how do we deal with this as kids?
Yeah.
Because the family was around us, my aunts, my uncles, like everyone was there trying to help. But in reality, it was this like, it was a huge mystery for like me and my sister, I think. Like, what do we do now? Like, because she's different, all this stuff's going on. She's in radiation and chemo. And it's like, the fact of the matter is like, we were never given the emotional support, I think, from like, I guess I'll say an institutional level.
Yeah.
Where like we knew
Professional. Yeah.
where we knew what to do.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, I think the same thing happens with like a divorce. Like think about like two parents that might like dislike each other and those kids, like how is that different from what we experienced?
What is the age demographic who are coming to Camp Heartbreak?
Right now we're like 23 to like 57
Interesting.
for Camp 1.
So that's a really interesting dynamic too, because people are coming from different places in their life and different experiences. What has it been like to like witness the camaraderie and like, well, it's sisterhood, because you said it's just been women.
Yeah.
Kind of form at Camp Heartbreak.
Well, full disclosure, we're going into session 1. So
Okay.
I'm about to see what's like, how it's, but I feel like everything we've done so far is build a team that like will facilitate that kind of.
Got it. You have things in place to like build that is what you want to do.
Yeah, because I do think just like you, I don't call them vibrations. I call them like vibes or whatever. Yeah. But it's like that kind of, that's what you want is people like, and that's who's involved. When I first drove up there, like I remember we were joking around with.
How did you discover like the land?
Honestly, it was the
camp?
first place I went to.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I just got there and I was like, this is perfect.
Really?
Yeah, I drove by a few other signs, but like I kind of messaged this guy a few times. And I was like, hey, I'm doing this idea. And like, what do you think? He's like, I really like it. Come on up. So I came up and like, I got there and like the counselors are chill. This dude's chill. There's like a dog running around. They had like a lunch bell. And it was like, I was like, yes, the lunch bell. Like the lunch bell was like so Pavlovian. I was like, I was 16 again, like at my camp. And I was like, I looked through a bunch of lists and eventually like I got to this one and when I got there, it was perfect. And like, they were awesome. Like I can't say enough about because it is about like, that's my theory.
For sure.
About the people.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you felt it right away.
I think so. And like, I think not only did I feel it right away, but like everything started lining up. Like I just finished another contract and I was like, I don't know, what am I doing next? And then I sat down with some friends and we just started building the company. And then like over the next 6 months, it just kind of kept going and going and going. And then like 12 months later, I'm sitting here doing a podcast.
Yeah. So cool.
12 months, probably an Oscar.
Absolute. So remember us in this moment. Okay.
I will definitely try.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So what was it like in kind of building all of this out? Like who did you consult? In what way did you look inwards, like to kind of create Camp Heartbreak?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's been hard.
I imagine because you're trying to cover everything, but also you want to like there's a lot of different places you could go and like ways that you could go about it, right?
Yeah, and so I think
there's no answer.
There is no answer, and that's why it is the first of its kind, this camp, right? So there was no roadmap. I can't say like, well, they did it like this or whatever. It was like I got to try it on my own. So it was really like, talking to really smart people, talking to people who actually cared about like what I was doing. And honestly, the cool thing about this idea is that like everyone was like, this is awesome, right? Like this was, except for a few, I'd say 3 or 4 people who didn't get it. Everybody else was like, yes, please. We need this. Everyone needs this. And I was like, fantastic. So, I really wanted to be, there are so many, I want to say this carefully because I don't disparage against them. There are so many yoga retreats and like we are not one.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is,
something different.
Totally. I'm happy for people who have yoga retreats and they work. But for us, we really wanted like a geared specific program for Heartbreak. So in building it, it's like, hey, you have to build a company. Also, branding is a thing. And then like what's our messaging and then all that stuff. So it's taken like so much time to like put that together. And then like I had to become like, I think, like I said, I'm more of kind of Chris Farley-esque kind of like messy guy. So becoming like this founder thing is like a whole other, like, hey, you also have to like play that part. It's been really interesting. I don't know. I like the hard work. It is hard. Like I'm not sleeping great right now.
Yeah.
But like I will be.
There's a lot of, I feel like, and just in the short time of knowing you care, you're so invested in this that there's like a pressure for it to succeed, right? And you want it, you're doing this to help people. So that's what you want. And that's pressure. Like, cause you want to give people the best experience and have something like that benefits them walking away from it.
Knowing that like someone's going to drive away from this camp or like hopefully everybody, but like at least somebody is going to drive away. Like I feel better.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's like, I think that's profound. Like,
Yeah.
because I feel like we, talking about sort of like, I feel like society often gives you the tools to hurt yourself, but rarely the ones to like fix it. And like, I think this is one to fix it. And like, I think we're open-hearted as much as we can be. And like, yeah, it's so far it's flying. It's doing great. And it's new. I have to also like, prove that we're a trustworthy company, that we're like,
Right.
we're like, so it's kind of all coming together. But in my opinion, like, it's just going to take a bit of time. And then like off to the races. I hope this is something where in the next 5 years, if someone goes through a breakup, someone will be like,
It's like the recipe of like, oh, go
Yeah,
here. Like
yeah.
that's like hands down, that's the first thing you need to
yeah,
do.
that's it.
Yeah.
Right. Or even like, in terms of people getting ready to go through a breakup, being like, hey, like, here's the support system you might need. Like, cause also like,
Interesting perspective that
Right.
like before you even break up, you're thinking about, or you feel like something's off in the relationship to be able to like identify.
yeah. And we have those people. We know
Yeah.
that. They asked if like it was okay to come before.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Because think about it. I mean, you tell me, like in your friends' lives, your life, how many relationships go too long?
Yeah. Things are bad before you end it.
Totally.
Normally.
Yeah.
Not always the case, but normally there are signs that will lead to.
And
yeah.
so for us, I think like giving that level of support too,
Yeah.
and being like, hey, if you need this support structure, and like I do hope everyone gets on WhatsApp groups after and like has get-togethers or whatever, but like they don't have to like bug their friends anymore.
Yeah.
You have your pals from camp, and like I know you were never there. I'm so sorry, but like camp pals are a thing.
Yeah, I know. So a lot of my friends have gone to camp, and
Okay.
yes, they're still friends with their camp friends now. So.
I ran into in university. I ran into a girl I went to camp with, Shannon. I remember like it was just such a powerful reunion. I was like, hey, camp,
Yeah,
And-
there's a different kind of bond that you experience out in the wilderness and
That's
nature.
it.
You
Yes. Well, you fought bears. You
know?
truly lived. But
Exactly.
yeah, I think like that's the thing is like if we can give that experience to adults more, I think that would be really, really cool.
I also love the play, and I don't know if this is intentional or not when you came up with the idea of like camp, because it could have just been like a place for heartbreak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the idea of camp is the nostalgia of bringing back like your younger, like happy self, where like it was so pure and like unaffected by the tragedies of the world and life that like this jovialness is like being brought out in people all over again, and like to remember that.
Totally. And that's kind of why if you look at how we chose our branding and how we did everything, we tried to kind of like turn into that nostalgia.
Yeah.
Like it was something that was really important to us to say like, yeah, this is a chance to, because okay, my contention is that like we're kids forever,
Yeah.
right? We just get older and weirder and shit goes down and you get taller, but it's still the same kid.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there is like,
yeah.
that's why those memories are, I think that helps with like the healing part of it. I choose as a company, I choose to say like rebuild because like healing feels passive. Rebuild means like you're trying, like you're actually going to do this, but
There's effort.
yeah. And like that, you should be proud of that. Like that's dope. Like
Yeah.
we're proud of you. So yeah, like definitely like, I think like we're trying to tap into that kid because like that kid's going to heal faster.
For sure.
I think.
For sure.
And I'm not speaking for our experts, but like, that's what I think.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I based on like again, like my experience, like I would totally agree with you.
Yeah.
If I may ask a personal question, Greg, can I ask you what
Lasagna.
was every time? What was your like first? Do you remember your first heartbreak, or maybe not even
Yes.
first, but the most like tragic heartbreak for you? And are you willing to like share that with us, and maybe how you were able to like kind of cope with it?
Yeah. I have a few. There have been a few relationships. I'm 41 now, so I'm still figuring it out. Yeah, man. I mean, the worst one was I was surprised. I saw someone say this on Reddit a few weeks ago, which was, I'm surprised you could feel this much pain and not be dead.
Oh, that's so
Yes.
heartbreaking.
Yes.
I know. I used to say the expression that I have is like my heart hurts.
Yes.
Like I can't explain it to you. Like it hurts
Yes.
physically inside of me.
And if you look at the medical research, like a broken heart's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like it's a physiological thing. It's not just in your head. It's like it really is there. So yeah, I went through a brutal breakup. I'd say a decade and a half ago, and like I was KO'd. Like
What happened? Can I ask?
yeah. It just kind of like ran its course, and then we just kind of broke apart, and like it was very tragic. But it was, I don't know.
Because there was like love still there.
So
like,
much.
okay. So then, and you just knew you were on different paths. So that's why it ended.
It was a bit more cataclysmic than that. Like
Yeah.
there was like a sudden thing that sort of happened, but I think it's like kind of private.
Okay.
But to the degree that I was just like, when it did break apart, like all of a sudden you're left with, we were both left separate. We had to move from our house. It was quick. It was intense. And that's kind of when I started. That's when I was like, I just want out of town. I want some pals, some sports, and some therapy. I was like, and I looked for it.
Is that what you did?
Well, I couldn't find it.
But separately, or like,
Yeah, I mean, I guess I cobbled it together.
right.
Friends'
You made
cottages.
you figured out what
Yeah.
you needed.
Camp was like this thing that I made from like a bunch of things, but like I
Right.
guess I feel like it wasn't this thing. I thought that this should, like you said, like how doesn't this exist? And I was like, I would have paid anything to just give me like 4 days of therapy, basketball, and a lake.
Yeah.
And like I would have been the happiest dude that ever lived. And so, yeah, that was rough. I've had a few rough breakups. I think most of us have. But that one in 2012 was the end of me. Because I think like, and not to be like too dramatic, but like I feel like, I can't remember, this quote is always misattributed, but it's living well is learning to die over and over again.
Oh, I've never heard that before. That's really beautiful.
Yeah. And it's like, I realized that like after trauma, you're different. Like you changed. And I say, you could say like old you died, right? Like it kind of like a different thing is taking its place. You're still alive, of course, but like I think I hit the mic. I think even your cells have changed.
Yeah. Well, how can it not, right? When something so bad happens to you in your mind, there's so many questions that come, right? What did I do wrong?
Yeah.
How do I avoid this happening again?
Yeah.
What am I going to do differently?
Yeah.
Again, all these are like progressive, like forward thoughts of like to not repeat the same thing so you don't have to go through it again. So
Yeah.
obviously there is change and evolution.
I'll say
no matter
like
what.
from, if I like, I'll keep adding, like from that breakup, that was me. That was on me. That's on me. And I think also like the guilt of it, and also just knowing how much we cared about each other and stuff. So I feel like I was just surprised. I didn't think.
So you did the breaking up, but you still felt really heartbroken.
No. I made a mistake that was like pretty significant.
Got it.
And that led to like a cataclysm that was. That is the sound. Louder. Cut. Yeah, but like, and it took years to kind of come to terms with it and try to figure it out and try to like heal. And I think, but it's true. I think people we love, I don't know that we ever stop loving them in a way. Like,
No, I don't think so either. I
Right?
think like I think two things can be true.
Yeah.
That you love and hate someone at the same time.
Yes.
Or you're love and heartbroken at the same time.
Yeah. And I think that's the truth is like, I think I started seeing around me that there were a lot of people in my position at different times.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's nowhere to go with it. There was boozing. There was boozing and like hurting yourself more. But there isn't like a concerted societal effort to like slow people down. It's actually speed them up.
Yeah.
Right? It's like get back out there is like a critical thing of it. And it's like, that's gotta be shitty advice.
Yeah.
Like you can't take that seriously.
Totally.
Right?
It's yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like the distraction. I feel like I've even said that to people. It's like distract yourself. Like and be busy and keep yourself on the go to not let like your mind wander.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and I remember even asking this, like when like my last breakup, same sort of thing I can relate to. Like we had a house together, and when it felt like a divorce. Like it was like very heavy and very hard. The hardest thing I've ever gone through.
Wow.
And
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But it like at the same time, so I would my parents were super supportive and they always have been. I'm very lucky to have them.
Yeah.
And I remember my mom, like bless her heart, it just kills her to see me upset. Obviously, I was like a shell of a human. It was really bad. And in that, she's saying like, like put yourself, don't worry, like you have this going for you. You have all this going. She's trying to like pump me up, and tell me all the good things. And, he's an idiot and you don't need him. And like, he's not for you and better is out there. And all these positive things that are important to hear. Yes, don't get me wrong. But there were moments where I literally said to her, I was like, Mom, I just need you to listen.
Mm.
I just need to cry. I just need to feel the feels. And I know this will pass. This too shall pass.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to just get this sadness out of my system. Like, I need you to just say, like, I hear you. It's okay.
Yeah.
And it's hard for people to do that, though, because you feel helpless, like, saying that to somebody, too, right?
I think that's like, sometimes you just need someone to like listen. But people feel like if they're not adding, they're being harmful. And like your mom, right. But it's like, that's so problematic because sometimes you just need to sit there and like, you don't want to be alone or something.
Yeah.
Because you're like,
It's like, I just want to be in company and still be sad or let my emotions out or whatever it is, you know?
I'll say, like, I think on top of where we are today as a company, I hope we have more answers about stuff like this going forward.
Yeah.
Right? Because like I think like that's the thing is we don't even know. I don't know that there's any right procedures to breakups.
Yeah.
Like how do you do it? Like,
everyone does it differently, right?
And so just to say, like,
I'll say this. I don't think enough people get any sort of help, which is why then they screw up the next relationship.
But that's it.
And the next one and the next one.
Yeah. And before you know it, like they're on a podcast.
Stop. Which one? Me or you?
No, me, man.
What are we talking about?
I've learned. I think that was a joke. But I think you see that. And I think, okay, you don't have to answer this because obviously your friends listen to this, but like of your friends, what percentage do you think you would say are in positive relationships?
Maybe 50%.
Okay. That's pretty high.
Yeah?
I think that, I mean.
I feel bad saying that.
Okay, so it's probably 40.
So it's probably 40. Well, because I also think like relationships go through phases of life, right? Like, especially if you meet someone young, like you grow with them and there are good times and then there are hard times and then there are good times, you know? So it's like, I feel like it's a fluid number or percentage, I should say. But yeah, like there are no remedies or recipes. Like you're going through a hard time in your marriage. So do you leave him? Do you not? Like, do you work through it? When do you know when it's time? All these things. Nobody has the answers to this. And honestly, the only thing I always say is like, listen to your body. Like your body will tell you of like.
Body keeps score.
Yeah.
Body keeps the score.
Yeah. Of like, if you're feeling anxious about something, like like I remember, and I say this because of personal experience. Again, I'm not like an expert in any way, but with my last breakup, when I was feeling like I couldn't take it anymore, because I tried to reconcile. We did like weeks of therapy, like couples therapy.
Yeah.
I was trying so hard to meet halfway and like make it work because there was love there. Yeah. You know, as much as there was hurt, there was love. And I remember feeling like so anxious and so sad. I had like hives on my body. Like it was literally coming out of my body. Like,
wow.
And there was nothing wrong with me. I went to go see more than one doctor and they're like, everything is fine. This isn't like a viral thing. Like, and then it wasn't until one doctor that was like, you know, are you dealing with any sort of personal issues right now? Like one doctor had said that. I was like, are you going through anything that's been a little like hard on you, like mentally or anything like that? And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going through a breakup. Like, I don't know yet, but I think she's like, I think this is your body trying to tell you something. Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was like that. And as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, you're right. Like,
this is like coming out.
Yeah. This is literally coming out of me of like, I can't take this anymore. Like, I can't do this anymore. It's not, I know in my gut that it's not for me. So.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for creating the space.
Thanks, man. Yeah. I mean,
so yeah, like it's really hard to know when you need the help too.
I'll say this, right? Like you don't go to the gym when you're 650 pounds. It's like, and I do think that like I always say like one guy that I read a lot during the creation of this is a French philosopher named Guy Debord. And I'm paraphrasing, and I wrote this down in my book that everyone can see. But it's, we likely can't fix social problems as individuals. And honestly, it makes me think so much about the fact that like I think we are obviously strong and powerful as people, as ourselves. But like we're way stronger together. Like as I was working on this, an African proverb kept coming up, which was, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And it's like, it takes a village, and it's like so much wisdom is, it focuses on us working together. And it's remarkable that like, most of like Western society is like this individual thing, one-on-one therapy, by yourself stuff. I don't know. I think I think that at the core of this is like, we got to get together again in like rooms or outside and like deal with it. Cause I think that's the only way it really works.
Yeah.
Like we are social creatures, right? And we
Yeah.
keep hearing this. It's like, we're social animals, da, 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 da. But it's like, but what does that actually like mean for us, like going forward? And it's like, thinking about you breaking out in hives, and it's like, that's so sad. But like, if you had a community around you, I mean, you did, I'm sure you did.
I did. I had friends, but it's not like I had a place to go.
Right.
Like, no, I'm telling you right now, if that was something that existed, and I actually have a friend of mine who I know would also have gone when she was in a particular situation. It's like, just to get clarity and be around people. Yeah, exactly. Like outside your circle, outside your bubble, with people who are kind of going through the same thing. Yeah. It's a community.
Well, and I think I love the word community in this. And also people always talk about like that person's out there or whatever, like in terms of trying to meet somebody, how do you meet them? And it's like, we have to create those encounters, even for friendship. Right?
Well, you know what? I'm going to ask like a future question, and you have to let me know. Because I imagine if also like, okay, let's just say two divorcees go to this camp, there's also a chance that like new love could be found.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, totally.
Like that's kind of cool.
Our insurance won't let it happen, but we only have 5 million liability. So, but no, like, totally.
People also bond over like healing together, I
mean, I've always wondered if they're ready, that's such a win, right? Then we can have like a couple from Camp Heartbreak, like,
How cool.
Yeah. And then I guess we'll have to buy them. And like,
they're their spokespeople.
Yeah.
Then they have to get married on the camp and then do a whole thing.
Yeah. And then it has to work.
It has to work.
Yeah.
You're going to invest all the things to make sure
and
that
that's going to be tough. but yeah, I mean, that's all of it. I mean, I think if you look at our plans going forward, my plans going forward, it's really for a really expansive company that like handles all of this. And like, I want to say one thing also, like, I guess we're kind of missing, but I guess we're walking into now, 60% of people getting divorced in Canada are self-represented litigants. So like, they don't have a lawyer. They're just going to court on their own. 60%. Yes.
Interesting.
So like, that's the other thing is like, there's also a lot of like teaching to do around like how to do this, right? Like I said, like how do you break up properly? We don't know yet, but maybe we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
How do you get divorced properly? We don't know yet, but maybe we'll figure it out. And it's like collaborative divorces are a thing now where the two people are like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's go. Mm-hmm. And like, I just think like there's so many solutions. And that's why like, I guess we are the first company to try to do this, and like, wish us luck. Come to camp.
I feel like you don't need the luck. Sounds like you have all the tools, and I love that you're coming in with like an expansive mindset of like growth and like how things can evolve and change depending on like how people feel, and like where it is, what's to come and who's to come, because also the people that come to camp with whatever they're coming with is going to help you, at the end of the day as well, which is pretty cool.
For sure. And I'll say like, I think my father was a PhD of chemistry.
Oh, wow.
And so I think he kind of drilled science into me in this weird way, like when I was a kid. And I feel like there is a part of me that I really hopes that like, not only are we helping people, that we can actually get the data to like talk about like relationships like concurrently. And like, here you go. And so like, here are the stats. Like, this is the fail points.
That's also how you get support from the government, is like proving that all of this exists.
Yes.
So I hope that you get that.
Thank you. I'll say like, that's one thing that actually, thank God you reminded me, is like in talking about Mark Carney in Canada coming to power, and like, talking about housing and the economy, like not once did they talk about people emotionally, right? Like people are in trouble.
Yeah.
Like
people are really suffering. Yeah.
And it's sort of like, it's so funny because like I get it from like, he's a banker. So like, I'm not disparaging bankers, but like he's a numbers guy.
Right.
And it's just sort of like, I think that's the thing is like, we're going to have to fight.
How do you put numbers to emotion?
Boom. You don't.
Yeah.
Lasagna.
Speaking of food.
Yes.
Actually, Greg, I have a little rapid fire game for you just
Yes.
for funsies.
Love
you want to
it.
play?
I do.
Okay, let's play. Let's play a rapid fire with Greg from Camp Heartbreak.
Yeah.
Greg, give me 3 items that you would put in a heartbreak survival kit.
Actually, like this survival kit just exists in like a realm of everythingness.
Yeah.
Lasagna. Chemical Brothers, Dig Your Own Hole.
Okay.
My favorite album.
Okay.
And a basketball.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And a hoop, I guess. I guess
Yeah.
you can't like.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's inclusive.
Thank you.
Okay. Cry in a cabin or scream in the woods.
Scream in the Woods.
Okay. Campfire confessions or lakeside letters.
Lakeside Letters.
Which breakup song have you ever had on repeat that stands out to you? I know there's probably more than one, but your favorite.
I Will Survive.
Yeah, I love that song.
100%.
That's my go-to karaoke song as well, and
Yeah.
I freaking love that song.
It's
Gets
the
you every
greatest.
time, right?
Yes.
Yes, Greg.
I was at a party years and years ago after this really crazy breakup.
Okay.
And everyone there knew that I was like busted up, and I had this like I was just whatever. I was just out of my head, just not feeling good. And at some point, I came upstairs. It was at Queen of Spadina like years and years ago, and my buddy was playing music, and he saw me there, and he just started playing "I Will Survive."
Stop.
And all of a sudden, the whole party looked at me, and I sang the whole thing front to back with his like assistants. And like it's so funny because it was such a funny moment.
Yeah.
But it was so real.
I love
Like,
that so much.
Yes, and it was such a it was such a
Honestly, I love that. That's like a movie, what I refer to as like a movie moment in
Yes.
real life
Yeah.
of like that happening and then like the whole room kind of like rallying behind you.
I was basically carried out of there on people's shoulders that night. Like that was crazy. Yeah.
I love that for you. And similarly, like I feel like that song has also come on in certain moments where I like needed to hear it or like
Sure.
sing along with it the
Yeah.
most. So yeah, I love that you said that.
Thank you.
Okay. Emotionally supportive snacks. I know we talked about lasagna, but would you go for s'mores or more of like a mac and cheese?
Mac and cheese.
Okay. What is one item banned from Camp Heartbreak?
Booze.
Fair.
Yeah.
Group hug or solo hike?
Group hug.
Okay. If heartbreak was a bug, what would it be?
Bear.
It's bug.
Okay, a giant mosquito.
Okay.
Like hold on, fine. Wait, I do better. Like a murder hornet.
Okay,
Okay,
there you go.
yes.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, who would be a dream counselor to have? Would it be like Taylor Swift?
I already got you.
Dr. Phil, Mel Robbins,
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
I'm working on it.
Okay,
I'm gonna do
love
everything
that.
I can. Like, can
Love
we
that.
Keanu? Like
He's just the greatest.
the greatest. That's
greatest-
why.
the greatest
I was so
man.
happy you asked that question because I was like, I'm trying to do this so hard.
I didn't even know and I set you up for it. Okay,
Yeah.
good. I'm manifesting this for you.
Thank you.
Keanu, Canadian, Camp Heartbreak. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he would heal
Come on
everybody.
down, dude. Come on down. We got you.
What would you say is the best part of Camp Heartbreak or being the founder of it?
A chance to breathe. Seriously, like just like a chance to just breathe for a minute. Get away, get out, and then come and breathe here. Like I think that's such a big thing. Like it can be so toxic in situations, and so like a chance to like really slow it down for a sec and just like take a breath by a lake. Bro, sister, all of it. Go for it. That's it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
I love that. Thanks, Greg. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to hear the stories that come out of this too.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Absolutely. Me
You'll
too.
come back?
I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah. You know
Great.
it.
Great.
Thanks you.
Thank you.
Thanks.